Because men somehow think that they know what they're talking about even when they don't. You do to be politically correct. Instead, it's something that will benefit the organization, whatever that organization is. And the reason is that all of us have blind spots. All of us have strengths, but we also have weaknesses. We have different perspectives and different experiences. And what I found as president was that the greater mix and cross-section of people I had around me who had different perspectives, hopefully common values, but different perspectives, experiences, and strengths, the more likely it was that we would have fresh eyes and fresh approaches to problems. So if an organization starting at the top makes a determination that that's important, then the next step is to put your words into action, and that means being very intentional about it. There are some cases, I think, in the startup world where people just don't even think about it. They're not actively trying to exclude, but they're not...
Just not thinking about it.
It's not a focus. And so those of us who are in charge of large organizations that historically have been more exclusive have to actively reach out. If you do, then what you'll find is the talent's there. It's just that you have to work for it. Now, when it comes to tech, part of this has to start earlier. And we know, for example, that, and I speak as somebody who has two daughters, how they learn and you know, Michelle and I talked about how when they took math classes, for example, they benefited much more from working in groups and collaboratively than just working on a problem on their own. So if we're designing our education system to ensure that we want more young women staying with STEM education, science, math, engineering, then we have to think about it. Why is it that so many young girls are dropping off early? What are the social pressures? Are we designing curriculums better so that we have that pool and those young people have confidence coming in? And then finally, you have to create a culture where it's welcome. And I think in Silicon Valley, we still have problems. I suspect that's true in technology firms here in Europe as well. They're so disproportionate men that sometimes the culture within the organization doesn't appear as welcoming as it should. So you have to work at it. And I have to say that even though I like to think of myself as enlightened and concerned about these issues, there have been times where I had to get woke, as they say, around certain issues. I remember in the White House in our second year, even though we had a lot of women in the administration, what we would find would be that when you had a group meeting, the men were doing all the talking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Just because men somehow think that they know what they're talking about even when they don't. So they